The Miraculous Ladybug fandom is something else, that's for sure. So we got a trailer released by Glue for the episode Kuro Neko, which is episode 23 of season 4. It's been a while since we've got content, so a lot of us are a little bored, or we're excited, or both. Now, when watching this trailer, my first thoughts were, this episode is going to be one of my favorites since Gang of Secrets and Glaciator 2.0. But then it hit me. This episode is going to tear the fandom apart, and it already is even when we haven't gotten it yet. We've only seen a 50-second trailer. So, here's a little advice. Don't jump to conclusions based on a trailer. Theories are completely fine. We all love theories, we all enjoy theories. Theories are fun. But I cannot even begin to tell you of the number of questionable things I've seen just because the fandom can't handle a little bit of Ladynoir angst. Miraculous Ladybug TikTok and Instagram, yeah, this is for you. I mean, majority of us all wanted a Ladynoir argument for reasons such as character development for both Adrien and Marinette. So I'm finding it a little difficult to comprehend why I'm seeing some comments directing hate towards Ladybug. Not going to mention it because some things can be a little bit triggering, and that's just not what my channel is for. And there's also been fan art of, yeah, let's just say Ladybug is really getting the heat. Guys, come on. It's not that serious. So what if Cat Noir renounces Miraculous for the 3rd time? We all saw it coming. So as to why some of you are acting like this was completely unexpected, I just don't know, because the entire season has been building up to this moment, unless we were watching the season with blindfolds. So, in this video brought to you by the one and only your girl, the cartoon hotspot, I'm going to be analysing the trailer for Kuro Neko, sharing my thoughts and theories, as well as defending both Ladybug and Cat Noir, both of them, because round here we don't pick sides, we try to understand where both characters are coming from. Oh gosh, I sound like a teacher. So if you want to hear my thoughts, then don't go anywhere without giving this video a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, welcome, and be sure to turn on that bell button for post notifications. Without further ado, let's begin. We'll start by breaking down both trailers, but I'll mostly refer to the Gloob trailer since there's actual dialogue. First off, we see Ladybug being interviewed by Clara Contard, with Adrien watching the interview from home as he glares. Clara asks Ladybug where Cat Noir is since everyone in Paris is used to seeing the dynamic duo, and she even goes as far as questioning if Ladybug and Cat Noir are arguing, to which Ladybug responds they're not, but he's just a partner like everyone else. This of course shocks and upsets Cat Noir, but pause. Why didn't he turn up for the Akuma battle? It seems like Ladybug had to call upon other heroes such as Polymouse, Purple Tigress, Ryuko, King Monkey, and Pegasus? I want to talk about this though. It seems like there is some sort of continuity from Ephemeral. And yes, I know that episode was a huge disappointment, but I have to reference it. So in Ephemeral, it was made clear because Ladybug and Cat Noir don't know each other's identities, Ladybug can't exactly reach Cat Noir when there's an Akuma, making her more vulnerable and needing to call upon other heroes. So I'm going to guess in Kuro Neko, Adrien isn't able to turn up for whatever reason, and that's how we landed here. So then we see Cat Noir turn up and he asks Ladybug if she needs support. She then responds to him saying something along the lines of, "Stop wasting my time if you want to help," which is a little harsh, but guys, again, we don't know the full context. Maybe Cat Noir started flirting with her again, which annoyed her. We have no idea, and we won't have an idea until we actually see the episode. All I know is something must have warranted that response from Ladybug, and I say this on the basis of what happens next in the trailer. Cat Noir renounces as Miraculous, and I'll talk about that later. And Ladybug finds the ring and heads back home where she talks to Plag and the other Kwamis of her plans to replace him. And this is where the problems begin, and where I unfortunately have to tell the fandom off a bit, so bear with me. No, Ladybug isn't mean, nor is she inconsiderate for saying she needs to find another Cat Noir who isn't in love with her. It's so incredibly annoying seeing comments and posts directing hate towards Ladybug. Ladybug doesn't deserve Cat Noir, Ladybug mistreats Cat Noir deserves so much better than Ladybug. Hello? May I remind you that she has a right to not return his feelings. And yes, it's complicated since that's her crush, Adrien. But my point still stands. Regarding her replacing him, you can't possibly expect her to just fight alone, do you? Remember a while back I stated Ladybug thinks with her mind, whilst Cat Noir's decision often comes from his emotions and heart. This is a prime example of that. Ladybug is the guardian and team leader. She has a responsibility to protect Paris. Cat Noir is Adrien's escape, and therefore it's easier for him to walk away and renounce his miraculous. But Ladybug is Marinette's burden. She can't outrun responsibility. And even when Cat Noir is Adrien's escape, it's still his responsibility. So you probably know where I'm heading at with this. Anyways, the Black Cat holder, no matter who, is tasked with the responsibility of protecting the Ladybug holder. Cat Noir is offense and usually the one to engage in the fighting and combat, whilst Ladybug comes up with a plan to defeat the villain. Ladybug can rarely do both offense and defense. She has sometimes, but it often slows her down. Without a Black Cat holder to protect her while she figures out how to put her lucky charm to use, Ladybug is ultimately vulnerable and susceptible to getting her miraculous taken. She needs a Black Cat holder. It's that simple. So of course, using her rationale, Ladybug states she needs to find a new Cat Noir for the greater good of Paris and herself. I think a lot of people aren't really being empathetic and are not cutting Ladybug some slack here, because if you were in her position, you have to put sentiments aside and do what's best for yourself and Paris. Nobody is saying Ladybug is happy to replace him, and I'm kind of confused where that was shown in the trailer. I'm sorry, I don't see a smile on her face where she said that. She's not all cheery and happy saying, oh, it's fine, I'll just find a new Black Cat holder, everything will be okay, yay. No, look at her frown. She clearly is backed up with no solution other than the one presented in front of her, the most logical one. Again, a lot of the fandom is jumping to conclusions based on a trailer as an excuse to bash Marinette, because I doubt being the guardian is an easy job. But hey, if you're looking for someone to blame, let's normalize blaming Gabriel Agreste and Master Fu. Gabriel because he's Gabriel. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. And Master Fu because one, he was way too passive, barely trained the heroes, gave two 13-year-olds the most powerful jewels to exist and said, yeah, you can do your own thing, I'll just sit back and relax. And two, because he's the reason why Ladybug has more responsibility than Cat Noir. He never treated them as equals. He often made Ladybug not consult Cat Noir on certain things. I mean, I can go on forever listing off all the reasons why Master Fu was not a really good mentor. Like, it makes no sense to me how he himself knew what it's like to have such a huge burden placed on you at a young age, and then he goes on and makes that same mistake generations later by putting all the responsibility on Marinette. I mean, he was nice, I'll give him that, but that's about it. Now I'm gonna defend Marinette a little more because my girl needs it, and funny enough, the fandom loves to bash her but excuse Adrien for the same exact things. Look, I get why Adrien renounced his miraculous, okay? He's been feeling replaceable and left out since Optigami. Since Cat Noir is Adrien's escape and he rarely gets attention from his father, it makes sense for him to feel overwhelmed and upset that Ladybug too is replacing him, even though she had stated multiple times that he is irreplaceable. But let's remember, a lot of people forget that Adrien lacks self-esteem. We always talk about Marinette's lack of confidence, but we brush off Adrien's as well. At home, Adrien feels invisible and worthless because Gabriel is a terrible parent. And that's me putting it nicely, since there are probably kids watching my video and I don't want to cuss. So naturally, Adrien feels like he needs to protect the one thing that gives him freedom. But when that one thing becomes another source of pain and hurt, it's a defense mechanism for him to leave and renounce his miraculous. It's a trauma response. Let's be honest. Both Marinette and Adrien suck at facing their problems. One leaves and the other does absolutely anything she can think of to avoid her problems until they eventually catch up to her. So I understand where Adrien is coming from. I really do. I'd probably do the same. But what I can't understand is why people excuse Adrien for doing this, but were the same people annoyed at Marinette for leaving Paris and giving her miraculous to Alia for the day. It's not like she had a choice. In fact, Marinette being Marinette and thinking about what's best for everyone came up with a solution, a logical one, that entailed having to trust her best friend with her miraculous. What else was she supposed to do? What I'm saying is, we often put ourselves in Adrien's shoes and see where he's coming from and justify some of his actions, but we never do the same for Marinette. If Adrien has an angry outburst, we sympathize with him. If Marinette has an angry outburst, it's always, she should know better, oh, it's not the right time, she should put her feelings aside. They're both 14 and therefore should both be judged as 14-year-olds. Even if they are cartoon characters, who are still learning from their mistakes. Let's stop putting such a high pedestal for one and antagonize the other. After all, the show follows both of them, both of their arcs and both of their journeys. Back to my point, I really do think it is kind of selfish for Adrien to just walk away. And before angry Adrien stands come for me, let me explain. Shadow Moth is growing stronger by the day, posing an even more harmful threat than before. Adrien can't just walk away and leave Ladybug all by herself, especially when he hasn't really done anything to tell Ladybug how he feels. He's been bottling up emotions since Optogami and only talked about some of his feelings in Hacksun, but not all of them. And by talking about his fear of losing Ladybug, she knew exactly what to do by reassuring him she'd never abandon him. But he hasn't addressed how he's been feeling left out. So how on earth is she supposed to know what he's thinking? He's not exactly communicating his feelings, nor is Ladybug a mind reader. She's a lot of great things, but a mind reader is not one of them, unfortunately. And like I said, they have a duty to protect Paris, whether or not it's by choice. I get he doesn't feel needed, but he is needed, and she's told him this many times. This miscommunication goes both ways. Yes, Marinette does have some part to play in this. Sure, it's unintentional, but remember, it's a trauma response from both Cat Blanc and Ephemeral, because on both occasions she has no idea what triggered the end of the world. All she knows is something went wrong in Cat Blanc and something went wrong in Ephemeral that led to Sass having to go to the extreme by reversing time without a holder. So in her head, she's doing everything possible to avoid this, which sadly includes not communicating with Cat Noir and leaving him out. They both are not talking to each other, so neither of them can see how to cater to one another's needs. A relationship, whether platonic or romantic, is a two-way street. You present your problems to someone and they help you solve it, and vice versa. But if nobody is talking, then both of them are coming up with all sorts of conclusions that are far from the truth and are bound to cause a strain and rift in their relationship. The truth of the matter is, because Cat Noir hasn't told Ladybug what's bothering him, from Ladybug's point of view, it looks like he's only given up his miraculous because she isn't in love with him. And to an extent, that might be true. Guardian Mari on Twitter made a great point by saying, nobody is saying Adrien is a bad hero, but we can't deny that he is constantly putting his feelings for Ladybug, his feelings about Ladybug, above the safety and good of thousands of people. They're heroes. Yes, there's a lot of pressure that no 14-year-old should be subjected to, but they're heroes with a job to do. This isn't me going off at Adrien, by the way, and I'd happily critique Marinette too when necessary. So when I said Adrien is selfish for renouncing his miraculous, even if he had no intentions of being selfish, it is. And that's just my opinion, by the way. In this situation as well, Marinette too can be seen as selfish, even when she's being selfless. She's not taking care of her own needs by not talking about Cat Blanc. And again, it's a trauma response. It takes time. But by doing everything she can to avoid it, she isn't even thinking about what actually might be the most plausible and logical solution. She's thinking about the short-term solution, but not the long-term solution. And this is actually a consistent character flaw. It might sound like I'm going off on a tangent, but I promise I'm not. Like in Ephemeral, she didn't even pause to think, wait, would Cat Noir be okay with this? Or maybe I should just ask Cat Noir to meet up with Suhan and reveal his identity. That way, I don't have to get involved at all. But instead, Marinette, rushing to come up with a solution without slowing down and thinking, is this the best one? Thought of such a convoluted plan to involve Viperion and time travel. She took a long-winded path instead of a simple, straightforward solution. So yes, I'm critiquing both of them. Not just one, not just the other, both of them. Anyways, now that we've gotten that cleared up, there really isn't much to the trailer other than the fact a new holder shows up. And his name is Cat Walker. What's interesting is the fact Ladybug seemed shocked, even though she stated that she needed to find a new black cat holder. Maybe Plaid convinced Adrien to take the ring back, but under a new identity. I really think Cat Walker is Adrien, and here's my evidence.
Marinette opened my eyes. The thing is, I'm always doing my Cat Noir act with her. Maybe if I were my true self with Ladybug, she'd fall in love with me.
In Glaciator 2.0, Adrien states towards the end of the episode that perhaps if he acts his true self around Ladybug, she'd fall in love with him. So assuming Cat Walker is in fact our beloved Sunshine Boy, what if he begins to act like his true self? But here's the deal, it's miraculous. Nothing ever goes to plan. Because what exactly is Adrien's true self? Less flirty, more serious, doesn't make puns? I don't think Adrien knows who his true self is, and this is where we're probably going to get crushed. If you look carefully, you can see a slight blush on Ladybug's face. And guys, moon scene. You know what that means? Symbolism time. But not today, because I don't know the full context, but I can theorize that if Ladybug doesn't know who Cat Walker is and there happens to be a moon scene, my bets are that she realizes she misses Cat Noir more than ever. Because yeah, Cat Noir may be slightly annoying by continuously flirting with her on the job, but at the end of the day, he is her partner and she can't imagine not fighting alongside him. So the moon uncovers her hidden and subconscious feelings about Cat Noir that sooner or later, praying it sooner because I am tired of this slow burn, she will realize, and then boom, reverse love square. We won. Maybe as Cat Walker holds out his hand to her, she, I don't know, realizes it's a gesture Cat Noir always does, seeing as he's always there to pick her up and help her get back onto her feet, metaphorically and physically. But what if this isn't the case? What if she falls for Cat Walker, whether or not she knows it's Adrien, and Adrien gets upset because she didn't fall in love with him as Cat Noir, and so he begins to feel confused that Ladybug doesn't appreciate his true side, even though he doesn't know what his true side is. It's going to eat him up alive and breed all sorts of insecurities. I'm not really going to talk about the actual villain of this episode, I'm just going to assume it's a sentient monster of an actual black cat. Kuro Neko is Japanese for black cat, and that's all I know. Regarding Cat Walker's design, if it is Adrien, it means that the holder can literally decide what they want their suit or costume to look like. It was canon already, but I just needed confirmation. I don't know if Cat Walker will be a hero for multiple episodes, because if it is Adrien, he is already good at his job because he has experience with being Cat Noir. So I don't know, maybe at the end of the episode, Ladybug tells him that although he was great, she just can't have him being a permanent holder, and she'll need to take back his reign. Either that happens in this episode or the next, who knows. What's a bit fuzzy is these images right here from the finale. Does that mean Ladynoir doesn't solve their conflict in time for the finale? Or do they, but there's still a little bit of resentment and mistrust between them? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. So, a little reminder, we shouldn't jump to conclusions when there is very little context to support our thoughts. We can only base our theories of previous episodes that link to a new episode, in this case Kuro Neko. In addition, I encourage us to try and understand, or at least acknowledge, there's always two sides to a story. Often trailers make things way dramatic than it actually is. We all should know this by now. So let's not use a 50-second trailer as a scapegoat to project our disdain for one character or another. With that being said, it's okay to disagree with the character's actions, and it's okay for people to disagree with you. But engaging in wars and trading insults is never the answer. It's a cartoon we all love. So let's not forget what's important and abandon our morals, and let's remember why we're all watching in the first place. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If so, be sure to leave a like, comment down your theories, predictions and thoughts, and share this video. I'm super excited for this episode to come out, and I think it's going to be one of my favorites. As for today, that's it from me, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!